stream. Let me just do some quick checks and I'll be right with you. Okay, we're up and running. A big welcome to everybody. Thank you so much for coming to this stream event, this pre-event. Really excited to have you guys all here today. Yeah, really excited for them. This is WWDC 2022. So this is normally Apple's big software event, what they have every single year. If you don't know what WWDC stands for, it stands for the Worldwide Developers Conference, and it's been held for something like 30 odd years or so. That's been going on for years now, and Apple have been doing it every year basically. So we're really excited. So I just want to say a massive big hello to everybody out there. Please let me know in the comments where you guys are all from. I'd love to know where you're all tuning in from the world. If you didn't know already, for you guys, I'm from the UK, for United Kingdom. That's where I live and everything, but I know in America it is right now, I think it's about on the eastern coast. I've got the east coast? No, on the west coast. Can't do my north, south, east, west, but on the west coast, I know it's about 9:30 a.m. there at the moment, or 9:32. Where I am right now, it is 5:32 p.m. or 17:32 right here. So yeah, love to see you. Having a look here, I've got some people here from Texas. We've got some people here from Bulgaria. Oh, it's getting a bit late there. Things like that. We've got some people who's 12:30 in the United States as well. I guess that's what's it? I can't say my words now. From the East Coast, or maybe you're from the middle. But yeah, it's great to have everybody here. Got lots of people from Turkey, Dubai, Germany, India, South Africa. It is great. Milton Keynes, England. Oh, you're not that far down the road from me at all. So yeah, it's great to have you all here. Now, what I'm going to quickly say then before I get started rambling of what I think we're going to see at WWDC, I just want to say I am open to questions. I will try and answer as many questions as I can through the stream. But what I will say that if you do want to make sure that your question is definitely answered, please make sure to do basically a super chat or a sticker and with your chat as well with your question, and I will definitely answer my question the best I can to the best of my knowledge. So I think let's start with further ado. Let's start with WWDC. So like I have said to you guys straight away, that WWDC is more to do with software. It's more of a software focus. It's basically kind of bringing new life to your current phones or your current MacBooks that you have right now. So right now, if you guys have an iPhone and it's supported right now, it's most likely you will get some software updates this year on your device, and those software updates will be coming out later on this year, probably around kind of sort of September, October sort of time. So that's when they officially come out, but obviously there will be betas, and that will be explained a bit more further on into this, what that's all about. But basically with those software updates, we get lots of enhancements and lots of changes and things like this, and we're definitely expecting to see some big changes in iOS, iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, and I think HomeKit. I think I've said them all there. And there's possibility of finally something called Reality OS, what might be the newest operating system, what's to do with headgears and glasses. And you guys might have seen some of my videos about those ones. So it might finally get the reveal for that. So really hyped up for that. Just quickly, I'm just seeing some people here asking questions of do you think their iPads or their iPhones will be updated? I'm going to answer that quite now. So most likely I'm going to say in my predictions of how things of architecture, of hardware, well, when I say hardware, of chipsets have changed. The biggest chipset change was probably from the A10 series, if you consider the last generations. So I believe we will be dropping the A9 chipset now. So personally, that it does mean the original iPhone SE, the original, it's the iPhone 6S, the iPhone 6S Plus. I think there might be an iPad mini with that chipset as well. That will be dropped as well. And I think the iPad Air 2 is still supported as well. That probably is going to be dropped this year. But anyone who's got basically an iPhone 7, I think I've said this in one of my videos quite recently. If you've got basically an iPhone 7 on any number, what's a double digit, you're basically supported. And if you've got the either generation of the iPhone SE, the 2020 SE, this came out a couple of years ago, it looks like an iPhone 8, and also the most recent iPhone SE, what only came out like 2-3 months ago, then yeah, obviously that is completely supported as well. For iPad, like I said, I think it's going to be probably from the iPad 6th generation onwards, probably not the iPad 5th generation now. So any generation of the 6th, 7th, and the 8th and the 9th, what we're currently on, completely supported. Same with iPad Air 3, the iPad Air, what had the latest, what if it was the A14 chipset, and it came out in 2020. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. I am right there, aren't I? I can't remember, but I think it is. And then obviously the iPad Air that's just come out with the M1 chipset, of course. The same with iPad Pros. I believe it's the iPad Pro that will be the 2nd generation. So this is the iPad Pro, had a 10.5-inch display, and also the 2nd generation 12.9-inch display, and this still had the Touch ID on it, the 2nd generation of that, before we started going to all the Face ID iPad Pros. All of them, though, they will be supported, definitely, with iPadOS. So yeah, it's going to be quite exciting on that. And then finally, iPad minis, I'll just say this, probably the last generation iPad mini and the current one, which just came out with the A15 chipset, will also be supported. For Macs, though, a bit different. I'm a bit unsure on this one, I'm going to be definitely honest. I believe that for Macs, I think it's going to be probably the same as what we had with Monterey right now. So basically, most machines from 2015 onwards for MacBook Pros, MacBook Airs, iMacs, things like that. Not the MacBook with the butterfly keyboard. That was awful, that 12-inch thing. Ooh. Makes me shudder, that. I might be making a video on one of them because I've got one. And I'm going to talk about it, how bad but good it was. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, we've got some great new things on that. We've also got the great, we've got Apple Watch as well. A lot of you guys are asking out there what Apple Watches will be supported. And I believe the the Apple Watch, it still will probably be the Series 3. Because at the end of the day, Apple still sell the Series 3 Apple Watch right now. They're not just going to go, oh yeah, we're going to keep selling it. Oh, by the way, we don't support it anymore. That'd just be horrible, wouldn't it? So it's got to be supported at least another year. So I think if you've got a Apple Watch Series 3 or above, you're in safe hands. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, and also the SE. You're going to definitely probably get some Apple Watch updates this year. Right, let's see what people are asking. Some more questions here. Oh, I'll go on to the iPadOS bit in a second, but I can see some people asking about the always on display. This is something that's been on my mind for a while, and to be honest, I think it could happen. Don't bet me on that. At the end of the day, one of the reasons why Samsung went with always on display, well, they did have it, and one of the problems they had when they started doing it was it drained the battery more than they realised. Don't get me wrong, if how an OLED display happens or works, and this is what you get on the current iPhones right now, the newest ones, and also a lot of Samsung phones right now, basically it's just the pixels that are needed as notifications light up. The problem is, though, what was happening with Samsung is that with their older phones like the Galaxy, let's say, I think it was the S6, it still had a 60 hertz refresh rate. So it was still doing 60 refresh rates per second on those notifications. So it was a bit ridiculous. And I think Apple knew that wasn't a good idea and everything, and they wanted basically a adaptive refresh rate. And as you know, we have ProMotion on the iPhone 13 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So there is a possibility they can do this because they can reduce it down to 10 hertz, so 10 refreshes per second. Because at the end of the day, a notification symbol, you do not need that to refresh more than 10 times a second. To be honest, you can have it 1 time a second. You don't need it to be constantly updating. It's just not needed. So yeah, I think personally, it could happen. If not, it will probably happen in the iPhone 14. And by the way, just on that one, there is going to be no iPhone 14 today. iPhones come out September, October time. So no, nothing going to be happening today, I'm afraid. No iPhone 14s. So please, yeah, no questions on that one because it's not going to happen on that one. But yeah, going back though, so it could happen. But the other question, I guess, if it did happen on the iPhone 14, a lot of people would argue, well, If it's happening on the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13 has a ProMotion display, well, why can't the iPhone 13 have it, or the Pro models have it? And that's a good question. So there is a possibility it could be now in iOS 16 on that one. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, just quickly, guys, before I start talking about iPadOS, because I know a lot of people out there are going to do that, ask questions out, and then we're going to go on to hardware. I am going to get onto hardware, I promise. So what I just want to put into here, I just want to tell you guys, I'm just pasting something into the chat right now. So due to copyright reasons and things like this with Apple, I cannot actually do like a sort of in-picture window on this stream, as it were, coverage of it, because basically Apple will break my fingers off me and I won't be able to make any more videos. So basically YouTube will shut down the stream completely, so I can't actually show it on this stream. So what you'll have to do is open up that link, what I've just put into the chat there, open it up and open it up on another device. If you've got one available, go and grab one, we've still got some time now. Or if you want to open it up in a new window, if you're like on a Mac or something like this. So yeah, so you can still hear the coverage, feedback and things like this, but yeah, it'd be great. So let's now talk about then the iPadOS, and then we'll talk about hardware and chipsets and things like that, I promise. So for the iPadOS, I think last year explained it all really. We were very, very disappointed what was going on with iPadOS. We did not get the updates that we thought we were going to be getting, and it was really, really depressing, to be deadly honest. It was just basically, like it has been, an amplified version of iOS. Just basically made a bit bigger, and we were really disappointed because we had this M1 chipset in the iPad Pro back then, and it was like, well, what do we do with it? We just got all this extra cores, all this extra power, and we've got multi-screen, and I'm doing that like that. And if anyone who's using an iPad right now and you use multi-screen, you will know that multi-screen isn't really kind of like a Windows kind of effects, the kind of thing what we get like on macOS or Windows computer, or anyone who's used a Samsung with DeX, for example. It's not the same kind of experience, and a lot of us are hoping that we're going to get windowed kind of view. I think that's one of the big things that we need right now with iPadOS, with the actual operating system itself. It's Windows kind of things that you can move around with your finger, or basically you can connect up to your Magic Keyboard or whatnot and do it like that. Or even maybe AirPlay might be extended to be even better now. So maybe we can actually AirPlay onto a bigger screen, fiddle around a bit more better with that. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that, and especially universal control that came out last year as well. See how that will all work with it. Maybe it's like a universal control 2 with that, with making kind of windows you can pull over between both the screens to each other, not just files and clicks and copying and pasting. So yeah, really hoping for that. Now, something else what I will also say, guys, is not to do with iPadOS, but we have seen some leaks and some rumours going out there that there is the possibility that we might get pro apps. And to me, this is really exciting. So we might finally get Final Cut Pro for iPadOS and even iOS potentially, and we might get Logic Pro, and we might get a brand new kind of sort of Lightroom, Photoshop kind of app. Apple used to do one years ago, if you didn't know that, it was called Aperture. Go and look it up on the internet. It's called Aperture, literally like what you do on your camera, your aperture. It was just called that, and they retired it. And I think mainly the reason is because like Lightroom was booming in Photoshop at the time. They just kind of, nah, nobody's really using it. Everyone's using Photoshop and Lightroom. And so yeah, it was pretty sad that they actually abandoned it. It just didn't get much love really. So hopefully some big changes there. And also with those pro apps, I'm also hoping for some big enhancements on them as well. So for example, collaboration on Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro. We don't have any collaboration. So basically, if I'm working on one of my videos right here, nobody else can, you know, fiddle around with my videos really, unless they got on my computer. I can't share things. It's really complicated to do it. Whereas things like Adobe and Premiere and DaVinci Resolve, they have those kind of capabilities right now. So yeah, definitely Apple need to up their game there. Something else though, what I just want to quickly say before I start talking about hardware, and that is I also hope that iCloud gets a bit of a refresh. In there right now, we can back up all our photos, our music is streamed, as it were, all our videos are up there, but we can't use it like a drive, as it were. You have got the iCloud drive, but it's not properly done like a backup, as it were. It's not like a time machine backup. Right now, for example, like if you buy yourself a MacBook Air, I am going to get on the hardware, I promise. The lowest spec one is 256 gigabytes of storage, and that's if it's a full drive. In 2022, you should be able to back up your drive to the cloud. 256 gigabytes is not too much, if you get me. Don't get me wrong, they should have maybe a payment plan for it. It shouldn't be free, because Apple won't give it away for free, will they? But yeah, I think we need an enhancement on iCloud. We need like a storage, a time machine backup, and a way to do with that kind of way how that works. That's what I'm talking about with this Final Cut Pro, with this collaboration, or maybe with your iPad. So this is the whole thing with iPad Pro. You could do Final Cut Pro, save it, and it goes to the cloud. Go back to your iMac on your desk or your Mac Studio, continue it on, as it were. Make it much more easier like that. And I think that really, really needs to come, especially with 5G capability as well and iPads. It just makes sense, doesn't it, if you think about it? So really, really, really hoping that something like that is going to happen this year from Apple. But let me know your thoughts. Do you believe that something like that should happen? Do you think we should get enhancements to Pro apps and we should get some kind of sort of storage like that? I'd love to know your thoughts. Put them down in the chat. So yeah, I am reading them as I'm going along. I've already said to people, people asking, will the what's it called, the iPads get upgraded to iPadOS and things like this? Yes, they will. Definitely all the iPad Pros will. Apart from the first generations, same with the iPad Air, third generation and above. So yeah, it's gonna be great. So yeah, big shout out to you guys. So then, with only 13 minutes to go, guys, I'm just going to quickly say again, anyone who's just joined us in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, I'm going to talk about hardware we could see next, but I just want to quickly say that with this event happening, Apple basically won't allow me to stream this event inside my event. So I can't do a picture-in-picture, as it were. So for that, what I've done is I've pasted in the chat a link to the actual coverage. So open that up on another device, or open that up in a new window, and basically keep this open to stay with the coverage right now. So yeah, just wanted to just quickly throw that out there for you guys. Right, hardware. I've been promising you for the last 10 minutes. Let's talk about hardware. So this is a tricky one, and I will say that. So traditionally, generally speaking, WWDC is not a hardware event, especially in the last 10 years. What I mean is a solely hardware event. What I'm talking about, for example, like the March event or the iPhone event that will happen later on this year, it is not like that. It's mainly about software. That is the primary focus. The next focus is developers. What can be given to developers? Now, one of the things that's always been revealed at WWDC has been the Mac Pro line. So back in 2006, the original Mac Pro with the Intel Xeon chipsets inside them, they came out in 2006 and they were announced then, and obviously they did updates to them. And then we also had the trash can Mac Pro, if you guys remember that. So that was the black one, the black cylinder one. That one also came out at WWDC in 2013. Then skip forward to 2017. We actually didn't get a new Mac Pro, but what we did get was the iMac Pro. And remember, the iMac Pro was a beast. It was a beast and a half, and sadly it didn't continue, as we know it's been dropped now. But it was a good idea, the idea of it. But again, some people just moaned that it just wasn't good enough. So that's why in 2019 at the Apple event, at WWDC Apple event, I'm going to call it, we had the new Mac Pro, the 2019 Mac Pro, the current cheese-grater design, as we call it. One that's currently for sale at Apple's website. You can't buy it right now because the Apple site's down, but I'll get to that in a second. But basically, that was it. During that time as well, we have seen the announcement of things like the HomePod has come along as well on that one. We've also had the new display that came along with that Mac Pro in 2019, but it did come along with that display. It was a Pro display at the end of the day. So, it kind of makes sense. At the end of the day, the Mac Pro is designed for developers. That's their idea of it, or the iMac Pro, all of that. It's designed for that kind of category of people. So it makes sense that Apple do announce this. So what I will say is then, we are possibly going to see the announcement, and listen to that word correctly, the announcement of the Mac Pro at this event. and it probably won't come out straight away. I personally believe it will come out later on this year. So I think it might come out maybe kind of October, November time. And also, it's not going to be an M1 variant chipset. So, you know, we've got the M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max, Ultra, you know. It won't be one of them. Because back in the day, at the last event at Peak Performance, I can't remember his name now, the guy who talked about the MacBooks, the main guy. He turned around and said that the M1 Ultra finishes our, you know, our family of the M1 variants, as it were. And then he said that we have one more Mac Pro we have one more Mac to upgrade, and that's the Mac Pro. And he said that's a story for another day. And that was a massive hint to go, yeah, that's the next thing we're upgrading. But I believe, you know, and a lot of other people out there, YouTuber leakers, are saying that probably the Mac Pro is probably going to not have an M1 chipset or an M1 variant. It'll have something completely different inside it. So yeah, maybe it's going to be called an X1. At the end of the day, remember with Intel, when we had them in our MacBooks at the time, they were i3s, i5s, i7s, bit like M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max, M1 Ultra with the i9, for example. And remember, in the Mac Pro, we had Xeons. We didn't have i9s. We didn't have i7s. We didn't have i5s. So Xeon was its own separate name. It's the same thing. I think Apple might be making their own name for whatever chipset they put in it. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on that, guys. Let me know. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Next of all then, the one that everyone's mainly asking about. M2 chipsets and M2 devices. I'm going to say it's tricky on this one. I'm going to be, from my point of view, I am so 50-50 on this. So there has been lots of leaks. There has been lots of rumours out there, a lot recently. But last year, if you guys have been around, you might have noticed I had to shave off this. And not because I don't want to shave it off again. I might shave it off anyway. But there was a mistake given, and that was everybody thought the MacBook Pro, M1 Pro and the M1 Max 14 and 16 was coming at WWDC, and it never came. It came later on. It came like 4 months later. And we were all really disheartened about it. We really thought it was coming, and it never did. But personally, this year there has been much more leaks, there's been much more rumours, and you know, the story kind of completes itself. Apple have said, like I just said a second ago, that you know the M1 transition is completed onto M2, as it were. And you know, what better way than to give developers the tools of the M2 chipset right now, the next generation to work with. And show that at WWDC what they could do. Now, along with that, then, you can probably guess what I'm going along with that, is that being that many developers probably haven't had their hands on it at this stage, is a possibility the M2 chipset itself could be announced, but no hardware along with it. Or what might happen is that we might get, say, the MacBook Air announced with it, with an M2 or the Mac, you know, with an M2 chipset inside, but it might not come out straight away. It might say it's coming, we're going to be bringing out a new MacBook Air, and it'll be coming out later on this year. And, you know, like I said, they've done that with the Mac Pro before, so why not with the MacBook Air? Don't get me wrong, it'd be really annoying if they do, but at the same time as well, we've got to realise, like I've said in some of my other videos, and a lot of other people out there, YouTubers have said it, and bloggers, that there is problems with chipset manufacturing at the moment in China, mainly due to the COVID kind of problems what they had in the last few months. Good news is it's clearing up now a bit more, but they have struggled to meet demand, and it's going to be tricky right now that Apple are struggling to basically give new devices straight away on day one. So if you order it, it doesn't come in the mail the next day. That it's taking weeks, months to come along to you guys. So it's possibility that there could be a delay there. And this is where, I mean, why I'm so 50-50 on it this time. You know, like I said, the way I'm going, no, it's not happening, is because it's WWDC, software, everything, and then obviously the hardware and everything like that, the shortages and all of that. So I'm going, no. But everything's going yes to me is, well, there's been so many leaks, there's been so many rumours going around about it. Also, the M1 journey's finished, onto M2. What better way than to give that M2 journey to the developers right now? Do you see what I mean? It's 50-50, so we'll have to wait and see, and I'm going to stay on the fence, and that's why my recent videos, like I made a MacBook Air video very recently, I sat on the fence. I really don't know. Don't get me wrong, really, really, really hoping for the M2 chipset and the MacBook Air because I so want to get my hands on one. So yeah, we're going to be really, really hoping that we will be getting that. So along with that though, with I say more M2 chipsets, devices, we may see the new Mac Mini revealed, what will be awesome to get a new one of them, and then also the MacBook Pro with an M2 chipset. Remember, there is that MacBook Pro with the M1 chipset with the touch bar. We heard back in March time that was going to possibly coming at the peak performance event, and it never did. So you never know, it might come now. Basically, the theory goes that Apple will probably update all the same devices in a similar order to what they did before. So like how we got the Mac Mini, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 13-inch, they will all be refreshed first, then other devices after, later on in the year or into next year. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. So yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to find out on that one. But guys, I'm just going to quickly say, we've got 3 more minutes left. I just want to remind you guys again, because of the nature of YouTube and the nature of Apple, they don't like people restreaming their event. So unfortunately, I can't do a picture-in-picture, but don't worry, I put a link to the actual feed into my chat right now, so definitely click on that link and keep this open, this sort of window open, or keep this open on another device and open up that link, and then we'll get full coverage from that and my opinions as we go along with that. So yeah, just before we start, let's have a quick look, see what people are going to say here then. People asking, have I talked about the iPhone 14? Yeah, I have mentioned about the iPhone 14. It won't be coming today, unfortunately. So yeah, probably it will be coming in the future. Just want to remind you guys as well that with Super Chats as well here, I will definitely answer your question if you give me a Super Chat question. If not, I'll try my best to answer everybody else's questions as well on that one. One question everyone's going to keeps asking, I keep seeing coming up, is basically, will the M1 MacBook Air drop in price? It's a tricky one. I'm a bit 50-50 on it. I'm going to be deadly honest. If it does, it won't be by a lot. Probably by about $100 if at maximum, if it does do it. But what I will say is though, guys, the event is about to start now. If you've opened up that YouTube feed, it is now appearing. So definitely open it up right now. It's going to start any second, but I'd love you guys to stay here. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to give my full coverage what I can. And at the end of this event as well, I'll give you my full opinions of everything what's going on. And if there is any new hardware, just be warned, I'm going to be ordering it while I'm going to be talking to you guys. So once the shop comes back up, because I'm going to be really excited to do reviews for you guys on that one. So, yeah, I might even show what's on my screen. No credit card details, though. But yeah, the event's about to start, guys. Really excited for it. Hope you guys really are as well. Give me some big cheers out there. Some big emojis. I want to see them right now of how excited you are, because I am dead excited for this. So yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. So any moment now, guys, it should be starting. Just a reminder again, guys, open up the link if you haven't got it already. And we're just about to start now. Oh, look at loving all the reactions from everybody. Oh, I think we're starting. Are we starting? Potentially. Ooh, it's different. I think we've started, guys. Lots of colours. I don't know if these colours mean a new MacBook Air colours. Everyone's thinking that, haven't they? I've been thinking that. Purple. I want a purple MacBook Air. I don't know about you guys. I really want a purple one. Or the blue. I don't know. So fingers crossed. Come on, how many more colours could they show? Hopefully it's going to start any second now. Apple, there we go. I think we're starting, we're launching in. Welcome to WWDC 2022, guys. Hope you're really excited, because I am. Lots of people's faces, developers. WWDC 2022. Oh, I never noticed that. It's the actual Apple Hub, the circle. Oh, was it nighttime? It's nighttime. I thought it was daytime. It's 10 a.m. Oh, there we go. We've got some sunrise. Is he on the roof? Tim on the roof? No, he's not on the roof. There he is. A lot of denim today from Tim. Like I said, guys, WWDC is all about developers. Remember that. Let's see what they're going to do. They said they're going to send out invites to people, so let's see if there's people there today. Ooh, developers. Tech Talks! He's copied my name! No, I call Talks Tech, isn't it? They've like looked at my name and changed it. Shall I sue Apple? That's good. I like what Apple do to charities and things for people around the world. It's very good. It is very good. Just to remind you guys, it will be software first, most likely, then hardware. Apple normally do it in that order. Let me know if there's any developers in the house. I'd love to know. If you guys have ever created an app or something with no code, I'd love to know. Put it in the chat. Tell me now. Oh, your first year of watching WWDC. Awesome. Wow. 34 million Apple developers. We'll find out about the public beta in a minute. Craig and WWDC. He's like the software guru. Or the OS guru, as it were. Oh, the doors opened automatically for the camera. Bit of CGI there. Oh, we're going down 2 floors. Let me know if anyone's been to Apple Park, it does that. I want to go on that elevator. Ooh, blue. Look at that. That's nice. What are they doing to the lock screen? I really hope they do change the lock screen. Please, always on display. Always on display. Fingers crossed. Let's see what it does then. That's how different it looks. That's different, isn't it? You can flick your colours on it, filters on it. That's cool. Yes! Notification icons at the front. Awesome. Oh, I love it how the time goes behind. Oh, wow. That's a big update. That's good. That's awesome. I do like that. Really like that. It's really good, that does. I like that background changing. It is a bit like Apple Watch, yeah. I think it's a bit more enhanced than Apple Watch, though. We'll give you that. Awesome. I do like the idea of widgets now. Sorry, I'm just in awe of what's going on here. So sorry, I've gone quiet. It's really, really awesome. Definitely nice big changes on the screen. I know it is very similar to Apple Watch, but it's, you know, it's a bit more better, I think. You know, Apple Watch is a quick glance, isn't it, sort of thing. So this is a bit more detail, maybe, probably. So let's go put a landscape photo. I can switch between them. Oh, I've had that. Well, I used to have an Android phone ages ago, and it could do that with that. It could have my weather as a background. You probably still can. I agree with you there, Craig Richardson. Oh, that's cool, the one with the Earth. There we go. That's iOS 6. I think that's enough for me. Widget kit, guys. Yay! They can actually put their own widgets in at last on the home screen, because they probably wouldn't work, would it? You'd have to wait another year. My widgets appear like that all the time. It's because of you guys. You guys keep leaving YouTube comments. I just get flooded with them on my iPhone. I'm joking. Yeah, YouTube. And WhatsApp. Oh, WhatsApp, get loads of WhatsApp. And then people go, I sent you a message. It's like 50 messages before. Is this a new feature for every iPhone? It probably will be. I'd probably say every iPhone that's going to be supported. When Apple say later on this year, you know that means it doesn't come out on day one. So that means it might be iOS 16.1, 16, iOS 16.2. So it might not come out straight away on day one when they say that. So just be warned. We've had it before. Look at Universal Control. It only came out a couple of months ago. Yeah, it was announced last year. So just be warned with that one. Oh, have they enhanced focus? Be interesting to see. That's pretty cool. All right. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? So you can have different focus, different screen then for different focuses. Bit different. It's like users, isn't it, really, for a phone? This is my work phone. This is my home phone. Different kind of user on it. Ah, if it filters on that then. That's different. Ah, focus on other apps. That's pretty cool. Let's see then. What are the three most highly requested features then? Yeah, I've done that. I've sent the wrong message. Ah! Oh, that's good. I like that. Oh, you get that, don't you? On WhatsApp. WhatsApp does that. That's useful. I like that first one, though. You can edit the message that you've just sent. I don't know about you. I spell things incorrect all the time on my keyboard. So, yeah, that's going to be really useful. I never proofread. I just send it. So, yeah. Let's see what some of you guys are saying here. I don't know about the iPhone SE 2016. I don't think it will get an update this year. I don't know about the Apple TV either. I think there might be a tvOS update. There should be, in theory. What iPad should I get for under $400? New one? Well, there's only one you can get for under $400, and that's the 9th gen iPad. Great iPad. Great iPad though. I like that iPad 9th gen. I've got one actually. It's brilliant, to be honest. It does everything what you need it to do, really. It's got the same chipset as an iPhone 11, and they're really good still today. Yeah. Mad Finko 1222. I have the same problem. It never fully works for me. It just can't get everything to work. Sometimes it does work. Like I managed to do Disney Plus the other day with somebody, and then the next day it didn't work. It was really odd. Nothing was different. Same houses, same internet, same Wi-Fi, same everything. Just didn't work. It was really strange. Yeah, Disney Plus. That's what I did. That might work then. That might be a bit better. Okay, that's a bit better. Maybe that will work now. Maybe that will solve our problem. I don't think there'll be a new iPad today. There hasn't been any leaks or rumours, I'm afraid, to indicate for today. I think that might be September at the earliest for a new iPad. Oh, what about dictation with Robbie? I think that lock screen feature will probably be on all the compatible iPhones out there, because it's not a big, enhancement, not a big pull on CPU power, personally. All right. Fluidly move between voice and touch. Oh, that's useful at last. I don't really use dictation, partly probably because of this reason. That's pretty cool. That's a bit more easy. That's a bit more better for dictation. I do this in Office 365. I use dictation on my Mac, and yeah, it's sometimes I can type, sometimes I'm not allowed to. It bit 50-50. Enhancements to Siri. I don't know about you guys, but I think Siri's lost its touch. I think Amazon with the famous A lady, I'm not going to say her name just in case you've got one, and also Google as well. I hate to say, I think they're more ahead than the Siri, and they're cheaper at the end of the day. I know you get better sound out of a HomePod and HomePod minis, but at the end of the day, if you just want assistant for something really cheap, it's a better option, I personally would say. Oh, I'm excited about this. Live text and video. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's enhancements. I like that. I like that copying on the video thing, and I like the taking a picture in grey. It's really good, that is. That's pretty cool. What do you guys think so far? Remember, there's more stuff to come. We're very early days. What do you think of the new iOS features so far? I do like that home screen. I think that's the big one for me. Home screen changes. Or lock screen changes, sorry. Not home screen. Lock screen changes, sorry. I don't think they will probably add Spotify to HomePod. They might, but that day they've got their own rival. It's Apple Music, isn't it? They want you to sign up to that instead. So, but then having said that, look at Amazon, I guess, and look at Google. They allow Spotify, don't they? It's just tricky. It's just Apple being stubborn, I think. Some of you, Robert McFarlane, you're not that impressed yet. Some of you are enjoying the wallpaper stuff. M2 chipset. I talked about this earlier. We might, but remember, if we do, it'll be at the end of the event. 50-50 if we will see anything. It's going to be everything software first. So it'll be nearer the end of the event that we will see anything to do with hardware, M2 chipsets or anything like that. Or MacBook Airs, MacBook Pros, Mac Minis, whatever you want to call them. What iPads do I have? Good question. I have the iPad 7th generation, iPad 9th generation. I have the iPad M1, 12-inch. I also have the iPad 11-inch as well of the A12Z. And I also have a iPad Air as well. That's my iPads. My wife, though, she's got the second generation iPad Pro as well. The 12.9 one, the last one with the Touch ID button on it. So, yeah, we've got quite a few iPads in the house. Let me know what you guys have got. cool. Apple Pay. This is where we can do one-to-one payment now with Apple Pay. I'm really hoping for that. Yeah, tap to pay. Can you do it to personal with your friends though? That'd be really good. Oh. That'd be cool. PayPal. Apple Pay later. All right, everyone's going to get into debt. Oh, I don't know, Apple. Only for the US only, I bet, isn't it? So all you US guys out there, you're dead lucky because it'll work for you. Because we're still waiting for Apple Pay credit cards over here in the UK. We've never got them. It's only in the US. Apple's turned into a bank. I'm not too sure about this feature. I know PayPal do it, don't they? They allow you to split, some people to split your payments up, and Amazon do as well. But you have to show a really good track record of paying. So Amazon, they unlock the ability to split some of your bills if it's over like $100 or £100 here in the UK, or special items. But only if you've got a really good track record of paying. Same with PayPal, they unlock the feature for you to split out your payments, but if they're just going to unlock it for everybody, it's a bit, I don't know. Maybe you have to do a credit check or something, I don't know. Okay, on to Apple Maps. He's got to go back up the elevator now. He was on the ground. Push him in the lake. Push him in the lake. Oh, cool. About time they brought it to some more countries. They're updated. I'm lucky to have it in the UK, like you guys in the US and some other countries as well. But it is really, really good, the updates. Oh. Look at that. I want to look at Disneyland. See what Disneyland looks like. Oh, and yeah, Vegas. Oh, awesome. 3D Vegas. Awesome. Request a feature. Yay! I've been waiting for multi-stops. Because every time you have to direct to one, then you have to redo it to another place, and redo it to your next. That's better. That's pretty cool. Transit. Trains. That's good. That's a bit better. I don't know if this is maps. I guess it's a maps enhancement, isn't it? Different, guys. Different, isn't it? I do like those 3D looks. Oh, awesome. Scooters. I love scooters. Has anyone been on an electric scooter yet? I have. They're great. I love them. I don't know if they're a bit dangerous, but they are good. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's about time we can do more stuff with maps. Maps has been a bit more in-house, really, hasn't it? So it'd be good to give it out. Oh, what's done with Craig? Oh, gosh, what's he wearing? Apple Sports. A bit like Wii Sports. You remember Wii Sports on the Wii? Nintendo Wii? It's on the Switch now as well, isn't it? We've got Apple Sports. Yeah, right. He trapped the ball like that. It's not like sports then. Oh, that's better. I like that play-by-play action on sports. That's better. Everyone's just going to keep touching their lock screen, aren't they? They're just to keep an eye on it. Amazing for sports fans now. Oh, some of you are not a fan of electric scooters. Awesome there, Marcus. What are you doing? iPhone 14 won't be today, I'm afraid. It'll be later on in the year. For iPads, when's the next iPad coming out? Probably it's going to coming out in September. Oh, sorry about the sports there. It's coming out to those countries. But yeah, next iPad is probably going to be coming out September, October time. So if you can hang out to then, it'll be worth doing it. Family sharing. They haven't done some updates to this in a long time. The last thing they did was Apple Watch updates. Yeah, I use parental controls. Not for me. Yeah, because with the kids account, you have to make them a full Apple account and everything. They do that already. That's going to be better. That's a little bit more easier. Your kids should be sending you messages to ask for screen time. It should be coming to you. It'll be worth looking at them. Let's see what photos do this time. With iPhone 13, 14s, the iPhone 13 is still a great phone, and it will be for many, many years. With the iPhone 14, I will say this, it's going to be enhanced, and every year it does get enhanced, but I don't think it's going to be a massive enhancement over the iPhone 13. So maybe, I can't even put my finger on it really. Look at iPhone 12 photos, look at iPhone 13 photos. Can you tell the difference? It's not much in it. What do you think the 13 to the 14 will look like? Not much in it. But if you compared, say, an iPhone, say, 10 or an X to an iPhone 13 Pro photo, you'll see a difference. Probably not a huge difference, but a bit of one. So really, it's up to you, really, I would say. There's not going to be a massive difference. You might also get an extra bit of battery life. And when I say a bit of battery life, you might get an extra hour on the iPhone 14, potentially. You might not. because the iPhone 12 battery life was worse than the iPhone 11s, but then the 13s were better than the 12s. So it's a bit of a pick and mixer. So it depends, really. But what I'm saying is it won't be a massive jump. What you used to get like in the old days, where, you know, photos would be completely revolutionised and changed. You got to that part yet where you can't really make big changes anymore. We just only can do little increments now. That's pretty good with the shared photos. That's pretty cool. Let's move on then. Privacy. They love talking about privacy, don't they, Apple? It is a good thing. I will have to say that the privacy is one of the best on iPhones. I used an Android phone the other day, and yeah, I could get around things a bit more easier than what you could do on an iPhone. Ooh, safety check. This might be good. This might be revolutionary. I hope they roll this out around the world, whatever they're doing here with this abusive relationship thing, not just an American exclusive. No offense, Americans, guys. It's needed everywhere, and I think you can agree with that. So hopefully they're going to do that. That's pretty cool. Different, this is. You know what's going to happen though? You get so many people, probably upset teenagers, as it were, who will get broke up the relationship, reset everything. Next day they're back together. Have to reset all those permissions again. But at least the ability's there, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit more better. Okay, today I was going to say to you, Islam's it's not an. We're talking about WWDC today. I'm not just going to be doing iPhones all through this. iPhones are later on into the year. That's different. That's pretty cool. Let's see what they're doing then to HomeKit and to CarPlay. Off to the garage. Well, HomeKit first. Awesome. I'm not sure about HomeKit. Manner. I'm not too sure about what they're trying to achieve here. See, I don't know about you guys. See, I've got a Amazon A-Lady. I'm not going to say an Echo. And I set it up on my phone. And that's it. Off you go. And then on I just basically talk to her. And on my phone, I've got the app for that piece of hardware. And that's it. Simple. And in the HomeKit, it's there. And in HomeKit, you can have multiple different companies, can't you? Different providers for your stuff to turn it on, turn it off. And then I ask her to turn things off and on, or whatever I want them to do, as it were. So I'm a bit confused what all of this is doing, really, because the ability is already there. Unless I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, because, you know, I'm a bit confused by this. Oh, a new Home app, though. Let's see what they do. That's different. That's a bit better with the HomeKit. It does look similar to the I've got the Echo, and I've got the Amazon A-Lady app. I'm not going to say her name just in case I set it off on your house. But yeah, I've got one of them, and it looks similar-ish to this. The camera view is good though. I do like that. That's pretty awesome. That's clever. I'll give you that. Ah, widgets. Oh, that's good to know. Can you get a camera view on your home, on your lock page? That'd be cool. CarPlay next, guys. Eob, I don't think it is 20 minutes left. I think this one's an hour and a half, this event. It's not an hour event, I think it's an hour and a half. I don't know about you guys, but I have to get CarPlay in my new cars now. I use it all the time. It's a shame that Tesla don't do them, doesn't it? I know the Tesla interface is really good, don't get me wrong. I don't have a Tesla, by the way. But if I did, I'd like CarPlay on it. Have anyone got a Tesla out there and find it annoying that you can't use CarPlay? Let me know. Just for you guys expecting hardware, we might not. Remember, we're almost halfway through this event. So we've still got another half of the event to go. So we'll see. We might get hardware. We might not. We'll have to wait and see. Mad Finko? Not really. I guess it depends what you're doing. If you are basically... that's pretty cool, CarPlay, sorry. I was watching the video. It depends. If you're using Spotify, if you're using maps, and then you've got 3D images, 3D pictures coming up while you're going through your maps and stuff, yeah, then basically, yeah, you might use a fair bit of data. But if you're just using standard kind of 2D maps, Spotify on maybe a little bit, or some of your journeys, not as much. That's pretty cool, this new enhanced CarPlay. Basically, Apple have put their software completely into the car now, haven't they? It's on your dash and everything. I bet you BMW and Mercedes are probably the first to get this, aren't they? They always are. It's always BMW and Mercedes. I wonder how many car companies will sign up to this, though. That's the big question, isn't it? They're kind of losing all their software, aren't they? But I guess at the end of the day, if they're losing their software, you know, it's cheaper to make a car if somebody else is making the software for you. But then again, if you don't have your phone, what do you do? And that's what I mean. Depends if a car company wants to make the software. They probably do, because people who don't have CarPlay, they're going to have to make it. And then, you know, why should Apple take over? They're already taking over with navigation and music and all of that. So, I don't know. We'll see. Clever with the instrument cluster. That'd be cool to change your dials. I'll give you that if you can do it. Oh, there's got a few people signing up there. No Tesla. Will it come out though? What? Late next year? There we go, guys. That is probably the longest wait. Late next year. So mainly I'd say, guys, on iOS, it's the lock screen what's been changed. Apart from that, not much else has been changed. Oh. I think we might be on to iPadOS next, guys. I think that's one we're most excited about if there's going to be changes in software-wise, I think. They better have changed iPadOS. Quick note. There's some good... it's okay. It's not a massive enhancement, though. Like I said, I think they're running out of ideas. Oh, Apple Watch next, guys. I think there's going to be a big update to iPadOS, guys, because in previous years they've done iOS, iPadOS, then they've done Apple Watch, then they've done macOS. So for them to flick it around means something could be coming. So I have to see. Okay, they've enhanced... I don't know. They've just changed some of the faces. That's not big enhancements, in my opinion. Oh, the iCar. Oh, yes. Can't wait for that as well, Marcus. What do you guys think of iOS 16 then? Just iOS 16, not the rest of what's coming up, possibly, but what do you think of the enhancements to iOS 16? Do you think Apple could have done more? What feature would you have liked to see in iOS 16? Put it down into the chat here, guys. I will be reading them. I think, Casper, I can see one from you straight away. No interactive widgets. I know. I'm quite disappointed with that. Missed out there. Missed out. I would love to see interactive widgets. Really disappointed there. Will the next macOS be called Mammoth? It could be, couldn't it? I have heard rumours as well. We'll have to wait and see. But it might. It might. We'll see. Awesome. Craig again with active. Is he back in that sportwear? Oh, it was a different Craig. I can't tell if this guy is Australian or New Zealand. Help me, guys. Apologies. I don't want to offend anyone. It did look flat. I don't think it was a flat Apple Watch though. That's clever. The thing is though, which Apple Watches will work with that? That's much more accurate to monitor you as you run. That's much better. Anyone here a big fitness fan here? Big fitness freak? I'll be honest, I'm not the best at fitness. As you can probably tell, not the best. I get by. Put it that way. It's good though. It's very clever. It just seems like they are just literally doing enhancements to what we've had in the last kind of Apple Watch OSs and iOSs. It seems here it's nothing. I don't want to say not new. It is new, but it's not. It's just enhancements, isn't it, guys? Don't get me wrong here on the software. I just thought there would be some new features like the HomeKit. They said they brought a brand new HomeKit, and it is new, but it's not really changed much, has it? Too much. It's just new views, as it were, just a new home screen, as it were. You can do everything what you could do before, really. But apart from maybe those cameras previews, that's about it, really. So I'm not too sure. Maybe this is what operating systems are going to be like going forwards. iOS, like I said, maybe it's hit its peak, and it's just little enhancements, and the same with Apple Watch as well. But like I said, we haven't finished Apple Watch yet, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get some more updates coming. There you go, Robert McFlane. Sorry, was it McFarlane? I can't see. Yeah, McFarlane. Sorry. Yes, you agree as well. I thought I want something new. Something new in iOS. I wanted something new in WatchOS as well. So fingers crossed we will see something. Eop, I don't know. I'm 50-50, like I said, about the MacBook Air coming. I said that right at the beginning before this on the pre-event. Thanks, Casper. Yeah, I agree, Casper. You've got to that point, haven't you? I'll talk about this after the show. You've got to this point with software that basically, yeah, you can't do more. There's only a thing. It's like Windows. Yeah, you're Windows. Sorry, should say Windows, should I? But I'm going to Windows. When I go into like Windows XP, I've had Windows from like Windows 3.1 to Windows 95, 98, and I had XP. I even had 2000. I'd say really for me, from Windows XP onwards to Windows 7 to Windows 10, I skipped 8, didn't look good. And then to Windows 11 now, what I don't have yet, but I've used it. I can't, it's nothing new, really. It doesn't feel new. It feels exactly the same. It's just enhancements on what exists before. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. But I think that's what's happening now with iOS and, say, WatchOS as well. It's definitely with 16 and WatchOS 9. There's nothing more you can really do apart from just little enhancements to things that already exist, really. And I think this is going to be the future. Maybe iPadOS, that definitely is a big revamp. macOS, I think it's going to be enhancements again, guys. I don't think macOS, what more can you do with it? It's like Windows, like the whole thing I just said there. But iPadOS, hoping, fingers crossed, some big changes there. They can do that. They could revamp that to a completely new OS. So let's see what's going to happen there. Some changes to sleep then. So as AFib does. That's good to keep an eye on your heart like that. That's pretty good. How long is this event? I think it's an hour and a half, guys. So we've got another hour and 8 minutes left at the time I'm looking at now. So I have to see. Completely agree. I like you, Casper Deep Crook. I like you. You're completely correct there. Once the eyeglasses come out, there'll be a lot more innovation. It'll be like the whole iPhone story again, won't it? It'll be another 10, 12 years of innovation, changes all the way for the 12 years, and another product will have to come along and replace it. I heard about this medications. I think I put this in my iOS 16 video. I saw this leak. You can track your medications that tell you when to take them, what days, and when to buy them. Be pretty cool. There we go. That's really good. That medication one, that's really good, I think. I like that. That's good. Please don't make this exclusive to certain countries for medication. It's needed all over the world. I think we can all agree here, can't we? Are you late at all, Zach? You are a little bit late, but you haven't missed too much. I think everybody else will agree there. With Rowan, not too sure on the MacBook Air. I'm guessing that's what you mean. We're still waiting if we're going to get something. We're 50-50 on it. I'm 50-50 on it. I've been like that for months if it will show today. So we'll have to wait and see. But you never know. You never know. We still got a bit of time. You never know. Well, back to Kevin. Remember, guys, I'm going to say it again. Anyone who's been new here, who's come along to this video or to the stream, remember WWDC stands for the Worldwide Developers Conference, and it's mainly solely on software. It's the main primary thing. They don't mainly talk about hardware, or they talk about hardware that's already out, and it's updates to that hardware exists. So just remember that, okay, guys, with everything. And if it is any new hardware, it will be near the end of the show. It won't be at this stage. It'll be later at the end. Apple always build it up to the big point. So just wait out. Let's see what Craig's got to say next. Mac. So that means, if we've got Mac, guys, if Mac's now, iPadOS is changed. Exciting. If they've done this, they've never done it in this order. Oh, Mac M1. Ooh. we might get a Mac enhancement here. Mac Pro, not sure. Next generation. Yay. M2, yay. M2, guys. Might get some new hardware. We might get it. We might get it. Oh, it's bigger. I like how they said that we prefer on performance on not that enhanced. Yeah, can't say it. Efficiency. That's a big chuck at Intel there, isn't it? Okay, it's the same size. Okay. That's fast, I was going to say. Let's see. Four performance cores. Four efficiency cores, same as last time, guys. Awesome. Let's see what the GPU does. 10 cores, guys. We thought it would. 10 core GPU. We thought this was going to be coming. And that was a good bet too. We thought it would be about 25% more power. Okay. What machine are they looking at? A Samsung Galaxy Book 360. That's what they're comparing it to. Enclave, newer engine, yeah. Awesome. That is a lot more, yeah. Media engine. Cool. That's really good for the chipset. So it's only bit more faster, guys. On average, I'd say it's about a third more powerful. Right, new hardware time, guys. First Mac. Here we go, guys. The MacBook Air. Here we go, guys. MacBook Air did come. There we go. It's come. It's come. Let's have a look at this new MacBook Air. Black keyboard, guys. First thing, not a white keyboard. I can't tell if it's got a notch at this stage. It has got a notch. It does look awesome. Nice new colours. Looks awesome. Oh, wow, that's really thin. It's got MagSafe! Yay! Yeah, that's more like it. Wow. The last Air was very thin. Wow, that's thin. That's awesome. That's nice. I like those colours. That looks awesome, guys, that does. $13.6, what you thought it was going to be. Awesome. Yeah, it was 400 nits before, so it's a bit better. I thought it was going to be 1 billion colours. You can get it in then. 1080p. Yay. So it's the same one as we got in the MacBook Pros. That looks good, that does. That's really good. Glad that's come. Spatial audio, that's a good feature. The new Touch ID. Nice enhancements. Nice size. Nice. That's good. Wow. That's really good. Still a silent design. That's amazing. There'll be no iPhone 14 today, I'm afraid, guys. That comes in September or October. Oh, awesome. I like the charger. That's pretty cool. That's really good on the MacBook Air. See it in action. Bit of a different video, isn't it? Different. I do like it. I'm glad they kept the black keyboard, definitely. It's pretty awesome. It's a good enhancement, I think, on the MacBook Air. It was needed. It does look good. I like that video. Are we going to get another notebook? Oh, more stuff. Another Mac. The MacBook Pro. They just updating the chipset inside it. Yeah. No changes on the design of the 13-inch MacBook Pro, guys. Depending on the cost of the new MacBook Air, there's not much point really getting the MacBook Pro, unless you really want the touch bar. Ooh. Let's see what the battery does. Same battery life as well. That's not bad, but no design change, guys, I'm afraid, on that one. Maybe next year. I think, which one you're going to pick. I'd pick the Air. There'll be no new iPhone today, guys. Oh, MacBook Air's $2. Ooh. Okay, the MacBook Air next month. Oh. $9.99 MacBook Air. What did I tell you, guys? I thought it dropped down maybe a bit. Awesome. I thought it'd be next month. I didn't think it'd be right now. No Mac Mini. He said that very seriously, didn't he, Craig? Let's see what the new macOS is. Continuity. Let's see what the name is. Let's see what it's going to be. Ventura. Let's see what it is then. Looks awesome. Looks nice and fresh in that kind of yellow colour. Stage Manager. Looks different. Let's see how the Stage Manager works then. Alright. That's pretty cool. It pushes them all to the side. That's pretty cool. I like that. A bit like Windows. Windows has got something similar to this, isn't it? Called the tile view or something. A little bit like this. Ooh, interesting. That's pretty cool. I do like this. It's a nice feature. Can you get your things from your desktop? What are you doing with Final Cut Pro? That's a bit better. I like them, Matt. I like that. I like the Stage Manager. What are you doing to Spotlight? Pick a result. That's cool. That's a bit better. when we'll be able to pre-order those new MacBooks, I'm not sure. They would have said there, they would have been able to pre-order, say, this Friday and available next month. So maybe it's going to be a bit of a while yet till we can pre-order them. We might have to wait another week or two potentially to start the pre-ordering. But I'm sure the date will become available on the Apple's website soon. That's cool. That's better. I like when they say that in iOS with Spotlight. Oh, one sec. Is that iPadOS? What have they done to FaceTime? Oh, mail. I thought you were talking about FaceTime then. That's good. A schedule send. I like that. That's like flagging though, isn't it? Lots of different changes on the search here, it looks like, guys. I'm just checking Apple's shop right now to see. Nope, still down. Can't pre-order. Mail, that was simple. Safari. I knew it'd be Safari. Do you guys use Safari? Funny enough, I don't actually use it. I use Chrome across my devices. I don't actually use Safari. The MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro, they didn't say the date when it was coming out. They just said next month. So it could be a bit more of a wait. Probably pre-orders will probably be in the next week or two. That'd be my guess. And then probably it'd come out maybe about 3 weeks later after that. They did this last year with the iPad Pro and the iMac. When that came out last year, same sort of idea happened. You had to wait a bit longer. Should you get the public beta? It depends, up to you. I personally would say you could get the public beta, but I'd wait probably to at least the second or third one that comes out, because the first one or two, even public betas, I know you've got the developers betas, they're still a bit buggy. Unless you've got a device where you don't mind it being on and not all your apps are going to fully work, and maybe your iPad's going to crash a bit. Just be warned of that. But it's up to you on that one. But if I was going to do public beta, I'd at least wait 1 or 2 into it and then get it. So if public beta comes out the end of this month, what most likely this time it does, the end of June, I'd probably wait to probably sort of end of July, early August sort of time to get the beta there, the public beta at that point. Safari and Firefox. I do not use anything Google or Microsoft from iDigiGood. Let's see what more they're doing with phishing and things like that. Passkeys. That's cool. That's pretty good with that passkey. good idea, the passkeys. The only one thing about it is if you go and use another device what's not yours and it's not an Apple device and you're not signed in, what do you do? Oh, okay. Okay, they have made a way to do it. That's good then, with the passkey there. Gaming. Gaming. What are they going to do with the gaming? What are they going to do? I don't know what they're going to do with gaming. I'm interested to see what they're going to do here with gaming. Metal free. Oh, upscaling now. No Man's Sky. It's time to get here, isn't it? Let's see. The problem is with their Swift coding. It's good Swift to build in, but it's quite hard to bring apps that are built for called x86 chipsets, the old-fashioned Intel and NVIDIA graphics. It's hard to convert it over to Metal. Oh, Resident Evil is coming there. It's harder to convert. That's why many games don't come out on Mac. Ooh. Never seen a Resident Evil on Mac. Unless I'm being wrong here, I don't think one's ever come out. I think iPadOS 16 is coming last because it's going to be such a big change, I think, guys. Be interesting to see how they do this. How this game will work. Resident Evil. I'm just going to check the Apple Store, guys, to see if it's up yet or down. Still down. Can't order those MacBooks just yet, guys, I'm afraid. But like I said, you might not be able to order them straight away today. It might be come back on Friday to pre-order. Or come back next week Friday to pre-order. We'll have to see. This does look good though, this Resident Evil. The graphics is very good. The Mac Studio can even do 4K. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Will they bring Resident Evil then over to the iPhone and iPad? That'd be interesting. Will it just be exclusive though to M1 and M2 though? That's the question, isn't it? M1 variants and M2. Interesting. Continuity. FaceTime. Oh, you can flick it over to your Mac. That's useful. They should have brought that out ages ago, that continuity. Apple Watch 8. Apple Watch 8 doesn't come out till later on in the year. Since the Apple Watches came out, it's never come out in July. It's only come out in September, October time. Interesting what they're doing here. I think you're right there, iDigiDude, with your date. It probably is going to be July 29th. I don't know. It might not be. It might be a bit more sooner than that. The reason why I say that is because when the iPad Pro came out, that's pretty cool. What's that? So I just want to see this. Oh, that's awesome. You can use your phone. So going back to the iPad, not the iPad, sorry, the MacBooks. I think they will come out probably a little bit sooner. I think they'll come out probably mid-July personally. Because like when they did the iPad Pro and the iMac last year, it took about a month, 5 weeks later after the actual event, they actually came out. I think the event happened like April 22nd or 20 something, and then the actual iPad Pro and iMac came out at the end of May. So, you know, same sort of thing, probably mid-July time. That's pretty cool. It's really good, this FaceTime change. Like this. No way. That's really good, that desk view. That is crazy. That's really good that you don't have to change the cameras either. That's good. Oh, later this year. Awesome. That's good. That's probably the best feature, I'd say, on macOS, and that stage. What's it called? Can't remember what it's called now. Front stage or something. That was good. iPadOS. Is it changed? Apple working with Belkin. Oh, they've been doing that for many years, to be honest. Apple have sold Belkin accessories for a good while, but over to iPadOS though. Yeah, but you need to change it. I know it's based on iOS, but you need to change it, Greg. You need to change it. They've left us to last, so it's got to be the best. Big release. Oh, come on. Yes, we know about those. Teasing us now. He's teasing us. Weather calculator. Is calculator coming to iPad? Calculator, come on. Weather kit. Oh, let's see. Collaboration. It's about time to do this. We're not about messages. Let's see what collaboration. There you go, all your recent people. That's cool. Come on, some more big changes on iPadOS. It's just little shortcuts, isn't it? It's enhancements again. There's nothing big at the moment. Hopefully there's something new big coming, because he did say they did the biggest change to iPadOS. I'm really hoping. Reminds me of Teams, to be honest. Microsoft Teams. It was needed, these collaboration things, but yeah, Google's been doing this for ages with the Google Drive. Office 365 as well has been doing this for ages. So it's not so much something new, really. It does exist. It's basically Apple's own version of Teams, really, I think, and SharePoint kind of bits and pieces. Well, not SharePoint, they've got nowhere to store it, have they? But sharing files, collaboration. But this is coming to macOS as well. It'd be good if macOS had that. Let's move on then. Right. New API, guys. Probably because everybody else has got collaboration, haven't they? A sneak peek. Freeform. Later this year. November time then, guys. November, October, November, December. Just to remind you guys, then officially iOS and iPadOS and the new macOS and WatchOS officially probably will not come out to sort of September, October time. Then that's the official release. But public beta will probably come out next month, probably beginning of July. And if you wanted to get that, but it might be a bit buggy, then developers releases, what's the ones that they're talking about today, will come out probably today. But what I would say is I wouldn't get a developer's update personally, unless you've got another device, not your primary device, as it were, a secondary device, because it has bugs, to be honest, to begin with. And that's the idea. It's given to developers to discover bugs, and then Apple fix it over the next couple of months before releasing it officially later on in the year. But the public beta is a good one as well. Public beta, normally after the second sort of public beta, so probably mid-July onwards, is a good one to go on to if you do really, really desperate. But do remember, not every single app will be compatible with iOS 16 or iPadOS 16, you know, all of them, because it's still new. It's not officially out yet. So just be aware of that, though, if you do showing up. Gaming. So what are you doing? Metal Phrase coming to it. That's useful. Background download. What's it? Game Center? Has to be Game Center. Might think though, possibly an iPad. The iPad 9th generation is a good one to get. And it will be getting updates probably for the next, say, 4 to 5 years. So yeah, that's a good one to get. Share play with games, that's cool. Later this year, so you know what that means. That means it's coming November, December time. Desktop class apps. Come on. Does that mean Final Cut Pro is coming? There's got to be some changes here. There has to be. That's better. Find and replace. I'm not impressed with iPadOS so far. I don't know about you guys. I thought we were going to get bigger changes than this. Because he made it out, it was going to be big. Reference color. As I said, Madfinko, it's up to you. The iPad 9th generation, the one that's $330 right now, is a good choice. It will be supported for the next 4 to 5 years. You can pick it up for, like I said, $330. It's a good choice. You can do basically everything on it. It's great. So yeah, I definitely consider that one. What are you saying there, Tintin? Should I buy a used M1 MacBook Air in 2022, Matt? I want a MacBook, but I can't afford a new one. Yeah, M1 MacBook Air. Remember, we've just heard it. The new M2 MacBook Air is only about 20% faster in CPU and 30% in graphics. It's not going to be a mass. It's nowhere the jump what we've had from Intel to Apple Silicon. And this is what's going to happen now going forward. We're going to get incremental changes. So when I open an app and say if it takes me say 100 seconds to open, for you know, on an M1, if you had an M2, it would take you probably, I don't know, probably about 78 seconds to open it instead, or something like that. That's a guess there, 75 to 80 seconds. It's not going to be massively different in that sense. You're not going to be like where it took 100 seconds to open and then the new one's going to take 10 seconds to open. It's not going to be anything like that anymore. So yeah, the M1 MacBook Airs are going to be great for many years to come. Here we go, guys. Stage Manager. That's better. That's better to have Stage Manager on it. That's pretty cool. I like Stage Manager. That's more like it on Stage Manager. Window views, guys. That's better. That's better for iPadOS. Yeah, external display. This is what we wanted with iPadOS, guys. That's awesome. That's better. That's pretty cool. About time iPadOS is like this. But is that only for the M1 iPad Pros? It'd be good if it was on the other, obviously the iPad Air M1, but 1 or 2 generations behind would be useful for. That's a bit better. It's the Stage Manager is the big change. It's all about Stage Manager. I think we're at the end of the event, guys. New MacBook Air. When can we get them? Right, M2. Developers today. Public beta in July. Yeah, that's what we thought, guys. I'm just checking the Apple Store, guys. It's still nothing. Oh, there we go. It's up now. I'm just going to check it. Guys, it's up on the shop, the new MacBook Airs. So, just to quickly tell you guys, I'm just ordering off the app right now. That's what I'm doing, just to show you. The new MacBook Air. You've got 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU. So I'm going to, oh my goodness, the 10-core GPU in the UK is £1,549. That's probably about $1,600. That's a lot. I'm going to go for the 8-core CPU and 8-core GPU M2. Let's have a look. I'm going to go with 8 gigabytes, 16 and 24 gigabytes of RAM. Storage is 256 up to 2 terabytes. You can choose those chargers. You get a standard 30 watts. You can get a 35 dual watt or 67. I'm just going down here. And can I order it? Oh, I can't order it. It won't let me order. Customize. I'm trying to order it here, guys. Show delivery and pickup. Currently unavailable. Currently unavailable. It just says that. I can't actually pick it. It doesn't tell me when I can get it either. I don't know if I can show you guys there on my camera. If you can see that. There, see? It says I can't actually pick it. That's really, really disappointing. So, I don't know if anybody else here, if you've tried it on your phones or if you've tried it on yours, if you can pick the new MacBook Air. I'm trying to order one here, but it won't let me do it for me. Anybody else had any luck? Let me know in the comments. But I'm going to start talking about the events once I've ordered this MacBook Air, if I can. I'll just try again. Nope, I don't think you can order it yet, sadly. And it doesn't tell you when you can order it either. It's really, really disappointing. But anyway, it's not the best idea. I'm going to keep refreshing this there while we're talking though, guys, on this. So let's do a bit of a cover up then. Let's talk about then, first of all, hardware. And then we'll get on to software, because that's what most of you guys are here for. Hardware, 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 hardware. My opinion. So, let's start with MacBook Air. Yes, it's here. M2's here, guys. We were so unsure if we were going to be getting M2 this year. And I'm so glad that, this time of the year, I'm really, really glad it has come. I was so 50-50 because of last year. We didn't know if we were going to be getting those MacBook Pros, the 14 and the 16-inch ones, and it was just, we just didn't know. So I'm really, really glad that we actually have got the MacBook Air and the M2 transition is started now. We're talking like about, I think it's about 19 months later since we had the M1s come out, so it's really, really cool that they finally have done this. We're on to M2. The new design though, it looks really, really good. I'm a bit sad though the wedge design's gone. I like the wedge on the MacBook Air, but it's even thinner. And, I don't think Apple are going to make the same mistake what they have done in the past with Intel, because Intel chips got so hot. And in the thin design with like the MacBook Pros of the last generation from 2016 and even 2015, they got super duper 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 hot. and yeah, it was not cool. And yeah, so yeah, we were not happy at all about that. And so it's really, really good that they actually have got really cooler chips now, and they're more efficient, and they can make those thin designs. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is like, again, the first kind of actual device that's been designed, actually no, got the iMac, I suppose, that's been designed around the actual chipset as well. It's the first MacBook designed around the chipset. Remember, on the M1, we had the last design MacBook Air, and we had also had the last design MacBook Pro 13-inch. I'm not counting the 14 and 16-inch because they've got M1 Pros and M1 Maxes, but I'm talking about the M1 chipset. They were an old design. So this is the first MacBook with an M2, the lowest spec one with a thin design. It looks really, really cool. What have we just got here? I think we just had Pluto. Happy WWDC. Happy WWDC to you. Did you enjoy the show, Pluto? Let me know. I'd love to know. And I'm just going to quickly say that to you guys as well. If you want any of your questions definitely answered, yeah, please do use the super chat. I will definitely answer any questions from super chat, and I'll try my best to answer some other questions as I go along through this, as I give you my ideas and things of what's going on at the actual event. I'm also just refreshing the shop right now to see if we can actually order a MacBook Air. Again, I'm going to close it down and reopen it just to see. But it does look really cool. I do like these new colours that we've got here. At last, we've got a black. The black looks really, really cool. We've got a gold again. We've got like a silver space grey, and we've also got the silver as well. The pricing though, wow. Whew. The 8-core version, GPU and CPU, here in the UK is $1,250. What I'm guessing is going to be about $1,300 in the US. And then the actual 10-core GPU, the one what they talked about going, oh, it's got up to 10 cores now, is £1,550. What I'm guessing is going to be about $1,650 or $1,600 thereabout. So absolutely crazy. I'm going to try ordering one again here. So I'm going to select it. Availability, nope, can't order it just yet. It's saying, it doesn't say when I can actually order it at all. It says that I just have to wait at the moment. But the options that you have got on this MacBook Air, you can choose 16 gigabytes of RAM. You can even choose 24 gigabytes of RAM. But here in the UK, 24 gigabytes of RAM from 8 is £400 more. It's a huge amount. And then storage goes up to 2 terabytes like before, and a 256 gigabyte option. And this time the power adapters, you get the standard 30 watts, the 35 watt dual power. That cost £30 more here, so I'm guessing that's about $35 more. And then the 67 watt one, what they were talking about, that dual one of that, again is £30 actually. Oh, I thought it'd be more than that. So, oh no, so it's a single USB-C. That's for the fast charging, isn't it, with the MagSafe? And they did mention that. So yeah, you'd have to use that one with MagSafe to get the fast charging, but you can still use MagSafe, obviously, with it as well. But yeah, that is really, really, really crazy that they've done that with their pricing. I didn't think it'd be that much, but they're still selling the MacBook Air at the same price at $999 or $899 if you're education. So no changes there whatsoever. It's absolutely crazy that they have brought this out. But I do like the look of the new MacBook Air, and the second it comes available, guys, I will be ordering one. Personally, I don't think the new MacBook Air will be coming out till probably middle of next month at the earliest, in my opinion. I think we'll be able to probably pre-order. If I can't pre-order it today, probably be able to pre-order it this Friday or the following Friday, and it won't be till like I said, probably about mid-July when you can get your hands on it. The reason why I'm saying this is because last year when we had the Spring Loaded event with the iPad Pro M1, I'll get to the iPads, don't worry, and we also had the iMacs, something very similar happened here, that basically announced them, said they were coming next month, and we had to wait about a week or 2 weeks to pre-order them, and then they took another 3 weeks to come out after that time of pre-ordering them. So if you added that all up together, that was about 4 or 5 weeks later. So again, same sort of thing. If we add on about a month or so, or just over a month from now, we're talking kind of mid-July time. And I believe this is when this new iPad's going to come, this new MacBook Pro and new MacBook Air is going to come along. So talk about the MacBook Pro. So just a new chipset. That's it. Nothing new. But the MacBook Air pricing is so close now to that MacBook Pro. It's $100 in it. So basically, you've got a choice then, guys. You've got a whole new design MacBook Air with MagSafe, or you've got a MacBook Pro. It doesn't have MagSafe, but you've got the touch bar. Your choice, you pick. And also the MacBook Air's 13.6-inch display versus 13.3 on the MacBook Pro. And the main reason is because of that kind of notch. It's just that little bit of notch sort of design where the bar goes in the top there with the bar. So if you've seen the new MacBook Pros, the 14 and 16-inch, the bar sits in that notch space right now. So it's just for that kind of little bit more space. You're not going to really get a bigger screen, really. It's not really massive change. So really, I can't really compare the two screens, I'd say, on the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. They're going to be very similar. They did say that the nits is at 500 nits now on the MacBook Air. The MacBook Pro M1 has a 500 nits, whereas the last generation M1 had a 400 nits. Just slightly a bit more brighter on that one. But for them to keep selling the iPad Air, I think that's really good. The M1 version, I'm really happy that they are. I just do wish they brought it down by $100 more in price, because it would make bit more sense to do that. And also to everyone out there right now, if you're deciding what should I pick, remember this, that the MacBook Air M1 is still going to be a great machine for many years, and that power of that M2, remember, is they said it's going to be a what was it? There was going to be it's about 20% more power in CPU speed and 35% more power in GPU speed. And that's the 10-core version. That's the one that's costing about $1,600. $1,600, $1,000. $600 to get 30% more graphics power or 20% more compute power. Yeah, you've got some big decisions there to make. Or you could just save up an additional about $300, well, I'd say $300 more, and you can get the M1 Pro. And what is better than that M2 chipset the M1 Pro is? So it's a bit complicated now how Apple have kind of staged everything on that one. What's we're hearing here then? So we've got Sonny Soul, you've just come in. So will there be a MacBook Pro M2? Yes, there is. And that's what we're just talking about. There is the brand new MacBook Pro M2, what is available right now, but it's exactly the same design as the last generation MacBook Pro M1. So that's the one with the touch bar. Looks identical, the same form factor, nothing new apart from the chipset inside of either having the 8-core GPU or the 10-core GPU M2 inside it. So not much different there. But going back to what I was just saying before though about the actual chipsets, it's a difficult one. I'd say really, I'm going to get the new MacBook Air and I'm definitely going to review it, and it is going to be better than the MacBook Air M1. No doubts about that whatsoever in my mind. But the thing is though, for $600 more to get the full version of that chipset with the 10 cores versus, you know, the 8 cores, what you can normally get in the M1, or 7 cores, I should say, in the M1 MacBook Air. Oh, $600 and 20% more power? To me, I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, I'm going to get it because I have to. But I really personally cannot see why you should buy that on that one. But that's just my own opinion. Let me know if you're going to get the new MacBook Air. Put it down in the comments below because I'd love to know from you guys. And also, guys, let me know if it's come available on the shop. I'm just doing another refresh again on the shop. And I still can't see that it's available. So I don't think it's going to be available today. It says here, buy online and free delivery and all of that usual stuff. Yeah. Currently unavailable, as you can see here on my screen, so we can't buy it just yet. It was really sad. So maybe we'll just have to wait a few more days until it's available. Let's talk about then software, or actually before we do software, let's talk about hardware that didn't come. So to be deadly honest, iPhone, Apple Watch and the new iPad normals didn't come. To be honest, for me, not surprised. If you know anything about iPhones, for the last sort of 12 years of iPhone, ever since the iPhone 4S, that's how far away we're talking about, iPhone 4S, all the way to today, it's always come out kind of September or October time. So it was not going to come out today. Same with Apple Watch. Since the Apple Watch has been announced, it has never ever come out any earlier. It's only come out September, October sort of time. And the same with iPads, generally the kind of standard ones. Unless there's a special event dedicated for iPads itself, it never comes out at WWDC in that sort of sense for a normal iPad. So no surprises there in a way. iPad Pro, it's still too new. I'm going to say to you guys, remember the iPad Pro with the M1 chipset only came out last year, April. And you can go only last year, but that's only 15 months ago or so. Well, not even that, 13 months ago. I don't know, I can't do my maths here, 14 months ago. But the point is that it wasn't that long ago. It still needs a bit more time. So I personally think if we are going to get a new iPad Pro, it could be at the end of this year or the beginning of next year now with that. The same with the Mac Mini. Oh, such a shame. No Mac Mini with an M2 chipset. And I believe the main reason behind this is I think the Mac Mini is going to be announced with the M2 Pro chipset. So M2 Pro. So I believe there will be an M2 Mac Mini and there'll be an M2 Pro Mac Mini, because this makes sense. Because you know the Mac Studio, the new Mac Studio came back out in March time. With that, what can you get? M1 Max, M1 Ultra. So makes sense, Mac Mini to have M2 and M2 Pro. And the same with the new iMac, the 24-inch iMac. There's a very high possibility that could also get M2 and M2 Pro inside it. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but that's going to be later on, probably kind of September, October time, or in spring next year for all of those devices there. For the new MacBook Pros, the 14 and 16-inch models that came out, remember, last year, they're not even a year old yet, guys, remember? They only came out last October. The earliest we'll probably see them is probably next spring. I do not believe we're going to see them at the end of this year. It'll probably be next spring, the earliest on them. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So that's hardware and everything about hardware. So now I want to talk to you guys all about the actual software, because that was the main part of WWDC. It's all about for developers. It's all about software, about devices that are already out there and what enhancements are going to go. So let's talk about iOS 16 first of all. So iOS 16, there was some good new changes there. Not as many as I thought though. The main one that I loved from my point of view was the lock screen. At last you can do those big changes on lock screen with notifications. There's no always on display. Maybe that's coming for the iPhone 14. We don't know. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing that there wasn't much more than that. It was more enhancements on the enhancements that they've made. So like share play and things like this, a few more enhancements on that, like how you can text and things like this and you can start watching together at the same time. There wasn't too many new changes. And they made big emphasis on CarPlay as well. And there wasn't many big changes on CarPlay. In fact, the thing what they even said, I don't know if you noticed this, if guys who stayed and watched the stream with me will know this, because I said it, was they said the CarPlay where it could be on all over the car wasn't coming to cars next year, end of next year, end of 2023. They're talking about it now. We're talking like 18 months. I don't get it. I really didn't get it. Why talk about it now? Oh dear. I think they should have been working with the car manufacturers and talked about it maybe next WWDC and then brought it out and said, oh, coming out later on this year. And that is something else to keep an eye out. There were a lot of things what they did say at WWDC across all the softwares where they kept saying this is coming out later this year, this is coming out later this year. And what that means by that, just a little thing for you guys, that's code language to say these options are not going to be available on the day they come out officially. So when this software does come out in kind of September time, doesn't mean it's going to come out on that day one. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But just quickly for you guys, want to know when the software is all going to come out. So it just said it at the event, but I'll just give you again. So if you are a developer right now, and if you've got a developer's account, you can go and get iOS 16, iPadOS 16, MacOS Ventura. You can get all of those operating systems right now. But be warned, they will be buggy. Public beta is coming next month, and personally I believe it will be early next month, so probably within the first week of July. And normally that's what happens. Apple normally bring out their public betas normally about a month after WWDC, normally to the date almost sometimes, so wait till then. And personally, if you do get a public beta, be warned there will be bugs, but I would wait maybe a version or two after it. So every public beta they bring out, every sort of 2-3 weeks, a new version comes out. So maybe wait to the end of July for that version and get that one. And that'll probably be more stable by that point. Because at the end of the day, this is why they release developer betas out first, get developers' feedback, make it better, and that's what I like to do. But the official time when the softwares will come out will be September, October time. So obviously, whenever an Apple event is happening, so whenever they do the iPhone event probably, or Apple Watch event as well, combined with that in September time, most likely you get the latest version of iOS about 3 or 4 days before that, or a week before. And the same with macOS as well. The same thing happens. So when they do the Mac event a bit later on, they do exactly the same thing, where they actually bring out the actual software, the macOS, about a week before or so, like that. So yeah, that's when we can officially get our hands on it. But anyway, talked about iOS there. So what did we see next? Next we saw WatchOS. WatchOS again, just enhancements, wasn't it, guys? Okay, we did have Apple Maps, sorry. There were some enhancements to Apple Maps where you could pay, an Apple Wallet and privacy. There was a bit more enhancements there. But yeah, Apple Watch, it was just enhancements to things. I liked it how it can monitor you a little bit better with the sensors if your Apple Watch is compatible. So that was quite interesting. But yeah, there wasn't much more really I can talk about WatchOS, really. Apart from the whole thing about the defibrillator, that thing was pretty cool here, where it's monitoring your heart over time and alerting you. That was pretty cool. Not much on that one as well. Then there was also HomeKit as well. That's just been revamped, really. It's not really, to me, it didn't feel any different. You know, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but it just did not feel any different at all. So yeah, that was that. But then moving on to macOS. There was, obviously we saw the new Mac Mini and the MacBook Pro with the M2 chipset and a bit of a background M2, how it's 20% more powerful in CPU, and it's also about 30% more powerful in GPU if you get the 10-core version. If you don't get the 10-core version, I'm guessing it's only going to be about 20% more powerful. So with the new MacBook Air. But yeah, going back though, macOS Ventura, I did like that new, what was it called? Was it Stage Pass? I can't remember what it's called now. Remind me, guys. I can't remember what it was called. I'm going to say Center Stage. It's not Center Stage, isn't it? Is it Stage Control or something like that? Stage Manager. Stage Manager. That's the one. Stage Manager. That looked awesome. I really did like that on macOS, and I know it comes to iPadOS, and I'll get to that in a second, but that was really good. It was good to see that they've enhanced as well privacy. It looks like they've got like a one password system now appearing on macOS. So basically you're just using Touch ID to basically do all your passwords, and that you can transfer, and also you can use it also on Windows as well. They just showed you can do it with your iPhone, you can authenticate, so they're going to be working with people on that. That was pretty cool, to make it more of a sort of a password free world. I did like the idea of that, and we'll have to see how that develops in time and how many developers get on board with that. So yeah, that was quite interesting. Then we had iPadOS, and to be honest, it didn't look like they were letting on to much with iPadOS at the beginning, but when they showed Stage Manager on iPadOS, oh man, I was super excited for that. That is what we've been waiting for. Windows on an iPad, and the ability to resize them, move them around, how they overlap and you can change them, how you can group them, external monitor support as well, better external monitor support. Fantastic. Absolutely loved it, and it's about time we've got those features. And a question I want to know though, is that kind of Stage Manager only coming to the iPad Pro with the M1 chipsets and the iPad Air with the M1 chipset, or will it be coming to the likes of the what's it called now? The sort of A12Z, A12X, I forgot what they call iPad Pros, because they were very powerful too, the last 2 generations. And I really do hope it does come to that, because it's really sad if they don't. You know, the A12Z only came out in 2020, it's 2 years old. And for not to get that feature, it's a bit disappointing to say the least if it didn't get it. So really hoping it does have that on that one. One other big disappointment, I've just seen something here from Jeffrey Tackett, who's just said, thinking the same thing. No calculator app for the iPad still. Why is there no calculator? I don't get it. Oh, they need to bring it out. But overall, yeah, it was a really, I'm going to say it was a really great event. It was okay. It was good. It was better than okay. I'm going to say good for me. If I had to put it if I had to put it out of 10 stars or 10 apples, let's say apples. Let's do apples. So out of 10 apples, I'm going to give the event 7 apples. If there was no MacBook Air, and if they hadn't brought out the new M2 chipset, or if they hadn't brought out the new Stage Manager on iPadOS, I would actually be dropping this down to probably about a 4 or 5 apples out of 10. Because yeah, there's some good enhancements there, but yeah, those were the 2 things to me that really changed everything, was Stage Manager and the new MacBook Airs and the new MacBook Pro with the M2 chipset. And of course, I did also like the new lock screen on the iPad, so really glad that is come along as well. So let's have a look at some of you guys' questions here. So I did say this earlier, if you do a super chat, basically, yeah, I will definitely answer your questions. If not, I will try my best to answer any of your other questions, what you guys have been asking about here then. So let's have a look then. Just scrolling through. Should I buy an iPhone 13 or 14 on September first week anyway? Suggestions. I've said this before about iPhones. So, like, I'm going to take the Mac Mini as a classic, not the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air as a classic example here, okay? Or no, actually, yeah, I will take the MacBook Air, okay? So it's got MagSafe, the new one has, okay? It's got the notch display. It's got M2. What's different? What's changed? What else? Okay, it's a new colour. Woohoo. There's nothing more. The M2 chipset as well over the M1. What's different? Okay, we've got about 20% more power, and we've also got about 30% more power versus the M1 8-core GPU on the 10-core GPU on the M2. 30% more power. Is it going to be life-changing to get an M2 over an M1? No, not really. Is there going to be a difference though? Slightly, yeah, there will be a bit of a difference. And that's my point. iPhones are exactly the same. The iPhone 12 to the iPhone 13, the 13 is better. Of course it is. But is it hugely different? Not really. If you took photos on an iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, you can't tell unless you put them side by side and study them for ages to work out what the difference is between them. There isn't too much in there. So from that, it's really, I cannot see the point of everyone going, you know, oh, should I get an iPhone 13 now or get an iPhone 14 later? If you want to get yourself a new iPhone, go and get it now. Because at the end of the day, the iPhone 14 is going to be better, but so will the iPhone 15, so will the iPhone 16, so on. The biggest difference to do for you guys though is that if you've got something like an iPhone 8 right now, an iPhone 7 or older, and went to an iPhone 13, you will see a massive difference. If you've got an iPhone 12 right now and go to an iPhone 13, you're not going to see hardly any difference at all. If you went even from an iPhone 11, you're still not going to see much. You're not going to get a massive upgrade. You're going to restore your account on your new iPhone, and there will be not much difference to an older generation. And that is the fact with Apple, apart from when they bring out a brand new kind of increment in technology. Just like when they moved from Intel to Apple Silicon, the leap from Apple Silicon, into that M1 was a massive change. And we're not going to see that change probably for many years again. It's just slight enhancements, as it were, in speed. So from that point of view, I would say, same with the Mac Mini, or not Mac Mini, sorry, I keep saying Mac Mini, the MacBook Air here, I would say the same thing. If you want to get yourself a MacBook Air M1, go out and get one because it's great and they're going to be great for many years. But the M2 is better, but it's only a bit better. Same with the iPhone 13 over the iPhone 12. Same with the iPhone 14 over the iPhone 13. So that's an answer to that one there. So let's have a look then. What else have we got here? Other people saying, is there any pro apps from Mac to the iPad like Logic Pro, Final Cut? That was the thing I think was missing. I think that would have given me, I just did my out of 10 apples. That is the one that would have pushed me over the edge to kind of put it up to a 9 out of 10 apples probably, was pro apps. There were no pro apps. And I'm really disappointed by that. Maybe they're coming out later this year. Maybe some of you guys are going, oh, I'm really disappointed. There was new iPad Pro. There was no new one. But like I said, the iPad Pro is only 13, 14 months old. They're not going to refresh it just yet. It's going to come later. Maybe when they bring out that new iPad Pro, maybe they might bring out Pro apps at that time. To be honest, it did occur to my mind that if they are going to bring out Pro apps, it's the two opportune times they're going to do it. It was either at this WWDC or it was going to be at the next event, as it were, the next Apple event, and that's when they were going to do it. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But I would really like to see Logic Pro, and I would really, really like to see Final Cut Pro on an iPad, and also that ability of that continuity as well, mixing it over. So we got a super chat here from Problem Being. I work with Blender. Do I wait for the M2 Mac Pro, M2 27-inch iMac Studios, or get an M2 MacBook? Rendering is key. What's best for my buck? Good question. Now, it depends really. You work with Blender, so that's a bit different to what I use. I normally do video editing, as you were. So it's all about, for Blender, it's about cores and Blender utilizing those cores, as it were. So one of the best sort of ideas, I think we did some benchmarks on Blender, and that was, obviously it has enhanced every single time, but personally, in my opinion, I would actually say it depends. If you've got all the money in the world, go and get yourself the best M1 Mac Studio. You might as well. With that, and it's going to be more than capable. I had a M1 Mac Studio. I even made a video about it, and I actually returned it. The main reason why I returned it was not that it was too powerful. It was more than powerful than what I needed it for. Then I realised I do 4K video editing for you guys and stuff, as you know, and I do my thumbnails and whatnot, but it was more than powerful. The M1 Ultra, what I had before was my M1 Max in my MacBook Pro, and it could do everything that I needed it to do, because it's absolutely mind-blowing when an app has been designed to work with it. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head if Blender has been optimized for Apple Silicon, and if it has, then you probably don't even need an M1 Ultra. Probably even M1 Max is probably going to be good enough. But if you do want to sort of, future-proof yourself maybe a little bit, the Mac Studio with the M1 Ultra, the one with the lower GPU core, the binned version one, will be more than enough and will be for many, many years to come. The Mac Pro, I am really going to be arguing why it's coming out really and what's it going to be used for, because the Mac Studio is so powerful, especially when apps have been optimized to use it. If you're using Rosetta 2, it translates x86 apps, Intel style, AMD style apps back into Mac language or Apple Silicon language. It works really well, but there's only a certain sort of peak of performance you're going to get to, so it's better to definitely use an app that's been fully developed. So from that one, yeah, I would say personally, I'd probably say a Mac Studio with either an M1 Ultra binned or the top version of the M1 Max with that. M2, still good, and it will work with Blender, but I would personally not get an M2 with it right now for Blender. It's not really the right chipset for it. M2, remember, standard M2 is for users out there who just do kind of general browsing, a bit of 4K video editing from their phone. They said 8K video, so maybe the iPhone 14 may get 8K video. Probably about time, because like Samsung have been doing it for years, for example, but that's a story for another day. But the point is, it's showing it's going to be capable of doing it. So personally, yeah, M2 I wouldn't say for Blender. I would probably say definitely an M1 Max top range or the lower range M1 Ultra GPU graphics. So I hope that's answered your question there. Let's have a look there. According to Stage Manager, what do you prefer? iPad Pro 8GB RAM or 16GB of RAM? Which one's worth it really? That's a good point. We don't know yet what Stage Manager is going to do, but if I remember correctly, in iOS 15, we don't even utilize all the RAM in a 16GB or 8GB version of the iPad. It doesn't use all of it up, or the apps can't use all of it up. I think the iPad does, but not all of it does. But it's going to be interesting now if Apple unlock that RAM capability with Stage Manager. To be honest, it makes sense if they did, because yeah, if you have so many apps open in the background, so many different windows, it makes so much more sense to have that kind of sort of higher amount of RAM, a 16GB of RAM for that. But it's hard to judge at this stage, because at the end of the day, you know, I use like a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro or a Mac Mini with an M1 inside it, and they've all got 8GB of RAM inside them. And I've never noticed a slowdown ever. I've had like Final Cut Pro open them before, messing around. I've also had loads of tabs open in web browsers. I've had Word open. I've had loads of apps, so Photoshop open. Don't get a stutter at all. And on my MacBook Pro that I have as well with the M1 Max inside it, you know, that's got 32GB of RAM. I don't even utilize a quarter of that, even when my MacBook Pro is at full steam. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I think the same here as well. It's going to be interesting to see how it will utilize that RAM going forward. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see some more of your questions from you guys. I think I'm going to do about 10 more minutes, guys, and then I'm going to call it a day. Let's have a look then. People saying here, iOS beta is now live. It is now live for developers. So as I said earlier, if you are a developer, you can go and get it right now. Next one here. Will iPads have a better experience in gaming now, or will it be the same performance as before on gaming apps? Well, it's a good question from MaxRG55. New Metal 3's come out. That's what they just talked about, didn't they? Inside that WWDC. So the next version of it, as it were. So possibility that it seems like what they were saying is that they could make kind of, it seemed like textures packs. Do you know, like on PC gaming, anyone who's a PC gamer right now, you know how you can configure your game to work in the sense of that you can choose low, medium, high, ultra. Don't get me wrong, I know like Call of Duty mobile has that, like on your iPhone and on things as games, and PUBG as well, it's the same, doesn't it? It has those options, you know, to choose low, medium, high. It seems like though it properly works, as it were, with Metal. It seems that they've integrated it much better. So basically it means that it will recognize what kind of device you have, and as a developer, or the developers, what they can do, they can make graphics a little bit less or a little bit more. Bit like what you've got right now with, say, the likes of, say, the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Ones and One S's, One X's, whatever they are, and the Series S, Series X's. You've got that next generation of graphics, as it were, and you can still have the same game, but the graphic is a little bit more enhanced for either version. And it seems like they've created kind of an engine behind that, so it seems like that you just don't get the same version of an app on an older device to slow it down, but if you've got the more enhanced device, you'll get that faster experience. That's what I took away from that. I could be wrong there, but that's what I felt like. So that was quite good. That's going to be interesting that for Metal, yeah, things maybe might enhance there a little bit better. Let's see what other people saying here. Alex says the M2 Pro chip, the wait starts. It sure does. I think it's not going to come out till probably spring next year, personally. I think we're going to see more devices possibly at the end of this year with the M2 chipset inside it. Probably the iMac, that's going to be my bet, and I bet you the iPad as well, possibly the iPad Pro and M2 near the end of this year. Most likely that's what I feel is going to happen. So we'll have to see on that. Maybe the M2 Mini might come along as well. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see with that. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen there. Let's see what other people have been asking. let's have a look. Just trying to have a look, see what other people are saying. People still saying it's still unavailable. The new MacBook Airs and the new MacBook Pro, it's not out there anymore. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait to see when it comes out. Like I said earlier, guys, if you guys have just joined in here, I believe that it's going to be a little bit longer. I think we're gonna have to wait till the end of July. Well, not end of July, mid-July probably, to get our hands on that new MacBook Air. But yeah, really exciting though to see what it's going to be all about. There's another one here from Ethan Connor Hodges. I'm going to take this as my second last question here. What are the system requirements going to be on Ventura? Good question. I don't know that off the top of my head, but personally, I would probably say for MacBook Pro, I probably think it's going to be the same. It could be the same specs as what we've got right now with Monterey. It could be, if not, a year later with that. So maybe 2016 machines onwards. But then again, the 26 machines in my head, MacBook Pros, for example, are the same specs as the 2015s, just different design. So I don't know. It'd be sad if it goes back to 2017, put it that way, of those machines onwards. Because basically you go through this stage now, it was around about 2014 onwards to 2020 or 2019, where Apple used sort of 2 cores in the MacBook Pro 13-inch and used 4 cores in the MacBook Pro Intel ones, all the way to about 2018, 2019. That's when they changed it. And the increment in speed wasn't a lot. It was even smaller than we got here with M1 with M2. It was like about 6% faster, 7% faster, 10% faster. It was not a lot. It was not worth it. So really, I can't really see it being demanding on that one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I personally hope it's going to be the same specs as we got right now. Let's take the last one here from Shahir Bernie. Good to see you, my friend. You reply to a lot of my videos on here. So let's take one from you as the last one for today, and I'm going to call it quits after that. So anything about Apple VR, waiting to hear more about it. Sadly, there was nothing about Apple VR today. Really sad about that. But yeah, they kickstarted the M2 journey, didn't they? I don't think it would have been one or the other, wouldn't it? If they had started the new kind of mixed reality headsets or the new VR headsets, they wouldn't have done M2. They wouldn't have started M2 because it wouldn't make sense to, would it, at all, to do that. So yeah, I think we're going to have to wait at least to next year's WWDC, and it will be developers who get it first before us. But I think if it's going to be a launch, it's going to be at that event next year in 2023, and we'll have to wait till then for that one. Ah, dear. But anyway, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up for today. But many thanks for everybody for joining in. It's been, like I said, if I did it out of my apples out of 10, I'm going to give it 7 apples out of 10. The main highlights for me was the new M2 chipset and that Mac Mini, not Mac Mini, I keep saying Mac Mini. Yeah, I want the Mac Mini, that's what I want, Mac Mini M2. The new MacBook Air M2, and also the MacBook Pro with an M2 inside it. And I also love that new Stage Manager ability. And also I loved the new kind of lock screen on the iPhone. They were my 3 favourites from this event. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, more videos are coming out very soon. So take